Last year I handmade a book nook for a friend. That was all good and fine, except for the fact that I gave my wife a cookbook. So this year I have decided to give my wife something a bit more elaborate. A while ago I supported a Kickstarter by Unchained Games. The Kickstarter featured several dice boxes and dice towers, in each their own individual theme, and as my wife just loved board games and role-playing games, I thought this would be a great gift for her. So let's get started. Let's print a dice tower and a dice box, paint it up and wrap it up as a Christmas present. I just got back home. I am working on the wife's Christmas gift, and this is a dice tower. It's a really nice looking dice tower, and I've been testing this Ender 5 Plus, and I'm only having a 0.4 nozzle on it, so it can print really detailed and really large prints. So I thought this was the perfect project for using this machine, and it went really well. The first 48 hours or something like that, I printed this dice tower, and the quality is just excellent. Everything looks so good. And then when there was around half an hour left of the entire project, it did this. It simply didn't print the top up here. So luckily it passed this place where you're putting in the die, and then it first failed up here with the treetops. Here we have a couple of pieces for the wife Christmas gift. This is a dice tower and a dice box over here, and they are in the same theme, and I think they look really great. I upscaled them slightly, 125%, and printed them on an Ender 5 Plus, and I think it turned out really great. The surface is very clean, so they are basically ready for printing. However, I had a small fault when printing this one. Of some reason or another, it simply skipped printing the top part, which was really strange because there was a PLA in the printer. It was running smoothly, there were no problems at all. It just didn't print that stuff up there. But I measured the model from the bottom to the top, and I just printed the parts that was missing. So I'm just going to attach those now, and when I've done that, I'm going to prime these models and paint them up for Christmas. After the printing process, there are often small strings from the PLA, and to remove those you can use a small knife, hobby knife, but you can also do a much faster method, and that's using a hot air blower. And the technique is actually pretty simple. When you heat up these small strings, they will retract and almost disappear. So if you have a lot of string, or if you just have them in inaccessible places, like I have here in some of the windows where they are pretty hard to remove, you can use this method. The drawbacks is that if you apply too much heat, the PLA will start warping, so you don't want that. That would be basically a reprint. So you're going to be really careful when doing this stuff. But I am just going to use this method on these parts to make sure that I don't have any stringing before I undercoat them. A lot of the painting process with this project is going to be based around spray paints. I am going to prime the entire model with this uniform grey primer from Army Painter, and after that I am going to overspray it with a white color, so I get a white stone color in these buildings, because I want them to look like elvish buildings, these nice clean white buildings. And when I'm satisfied with how the walls and structures of the stones are looking with the grey and the white, then I'm going to hand paint the tree, the roof, in some sharper colors, and then I'm going to add some foliage to the tree to make it look like a real tree, so we need something green there. And I think this is going to look nice, but I am working on a strict deadline, so using sprays will definitely make the process much faster, and I also think it's the best way to get the result I want. Well, that's it. First layer of spray paint on the model, and this actually looks very nice. I'm actually kind of surprised because when you use this black PLA, you're not able to see all of the details. So when you apply a primer on the model, all of the small details will actually pop out and stand out, and this just looks really incredible. So this is a very nice looking model, and I can't wait to get this painted and finished up. It is looking very nice. Some of you might have noticed that I spray painted this inside, and usually I would say do not spray paint stuff inside, but the weather outside is just incredibly terrible and cold at the moment. So the wife isn't home, so I decided to do this anyway. I used a mask, of course, so always think safety when you are working with stuff like this. That was the basing of the model. They are now grey, and this is a great base color for this model. I am still going to make this look like sort of like a bright elvish construction. So I am going to overspray this with white, and this needs to be done really carefully because I am going to angle this and then spray it very lightly from a distance, so the paint will attach on specific places of the model. So I don't want this to be completely white. I still need there to be some of this grey stuff below it. After this I'm going to take a common brush, and then I'm going to paint up raised areas like these up here and the pillars and so on, just to give an additional effect of this being white with a greyish tone in it. So it's been a long time since I've done something like this with a basic spray can, so I am very curious about how the result is going to be. But one way to find out, that's just to try it, see what happens. Well, just look at this. When I came in here to do some work on my work table, I found that my workspace had been occupied by a good old cat, Leonardo. This is our oldest cat. He's more than 15 years old, and when he has decided that he would like to stay here and be a bit social, I simply can't bear to throw him off the table. So I will allow him to stay here until he decides to leave himself. Well, as I'm about to paint the grey parts of this model, I have just found these two paints or colors in my storage. I'm pretty happy about these scale 75 colors, and I found this one. This is a grey, but it is also kind of bluish, and I think that will look really nice in this model. And these mix really easy and gives a nice result. For all of the other parts I painted here, I used these Army Painter, which has a really nice coverage. And these were some old paints I just had laying around, a single game color here. And I needed to get these used before they became way too old. So they were actually great for a project like this, a large project where I needed a lot of paint. So now I'm going to use these two for all of the small detailing. this is looking quite nice. I just finished the paintwork, and as you can see, I think this looks really nice. I am very happy about it. The dice tower over here needs some fixes because I just tried it with a couple of dice, and sometimes the dice popped over the edge and fell off. So I'm going to add a bit of vegetation down here where the parts are low to make the dice stop and also give a bit more life on the base itself. So a bit of vegetation over here, and to make it all look a bit more alive, I am probably going to add some vegetation in the back and the sides too. So I need to give all of this a varnish, because both the dice tower and the dice box will have dices rolling around in them, and that could damage the paint. So I'm going to give this a gloss varnish to protect it from wear and tear. I found these nice dices. I bought them. My wife really loves purple and green, so they will fit quite nicely inside this set. Here we have a couple of gifts for the wife this year. This is for Christmas. A nice 3D printed dice tower that has been hand painted, and a themed dice box over here. And when we remove the lid, we can see there are a bunch of dice down here. I bought 2 sets of these standard RPG dice. So if we just pick one of them up and throw it into the dice tower, we can see if everything works as it should. We remove the lid up here, and then the die goes in, and it will come down here with a nice roll of 10. So that's pretty neat. I think or hope that she's going to be really happy about these 2 parts, as she really adores playing board games and she loves role-playing games. So I'm very happy about how they turned out. Thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed watching this content. I certainly know I enjoyed making it. If you have any questions, feedback or comments, you are always welcome to write them in the field below, and I'll do my very best to answer all of the messages. As it is Christmas, and as I would really like HOBBYWORLD to grow as a channel here on YouTube, it would mean a lot to me if you would consider, in the spirit of Christmas of course, to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all, and have a great holiday everyone. Now let's just finish this video by taking a look at how the project turned out.